Every single day, people are manipulating your decisions without you realizing it. And they're using 6 psychological triggers that completely bypass your rational brain.
Wait, you're saying my decisions aren't actually my own?
More often than you think. Robert Cialdini spent decades studying why people say yes. He discovered that persuasion isn't magic. It follows predictable patterns that anyone can learn to recognize and resist. Welcome to Growth in Minutes. I'm Emma.
And I'm Jake.
Today we're exploring Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion, by Robert Cialdini.
Cialdini is considered the world's foremost expert on the science of persuasion. His book has sold over 5 million copies and is required reading at business schools worldwide.
He spent years going undercover as a salesman, fundraiser, and advertiser, all to understand the psychology behind why we comply with requests.
So this isn't just theory? He actually watched these techniques being used in the real world?
Exactly. And what he found was 6 universal principles that drive human compliance. By the end of this episode, you'll spot manipulation attempts within hours.
And more importantly, you'll know exactly how to defend yourself against them.
Let's decode these 6 psychological triggers one by one. The first trigger is reciprocity. When someone gives us something, we feel an overwhelming urge to give back.
Well, that sounds like basic politeness, though.
It goes much deeper than that. Cialdini studied the Hare Krishna movement in airports. They would hand travelers a flower before asking for donations.
So even a gift nobody wanted created obligation?
Donations skyrocketed. The gift created a psychological debt that people felt compelled to repay.
Oh, that's why grocery stores give out free samples.
Exactly. The sample isn't about exposure. It's about creating that tiny feeling of obligation.
So how do we defend against this?
Accept gifts that are genuinely offered, but recognize when a gift is really a manipulation tool in disguise. Ask yourself, is this generosity or is this a calculated strategy? The second trigger is commitment and consistency.
What do you mean exactly?
Once we commit to something, especially publicly, we feel pressure to stay consistent. This is where the foot in the door technique comes from.
So getting a small yes first makes getting a bigger yes easier?
Much easier. Cialdini found that homeowners who agreed to put a small sign in their window were far more likely to accept a huge billboard later.
Because they had already committed to that identity?
Exactly. They saw themselves as someone who supports that cause. Written commitments are even more powerful than verbal ones.
That's why salespeople ask you to fill out forms before the pitch.
Right? Every small commitment locks you in further.
How do we break free from this?
Ask yourself, knowing what I know now, would I make this same choice again? Your past commitment should inform your decision, not imprison it. The third trigger is social proof. We look to others to decide how to behave, especially in uncertain situations.
Like checking reviews before buying something?
Exactly, but here's a disturbing example. Studies show that laugh tracks on comedy shows increase perceived funniness.
Even though everyone claims to hate laugh tracks?
Our brains can't help it. When others laugh, we assume something is funny.
And the bystander effect works the same way.
More witnesses means less help, because everyone waits for someone else to act first. The defense is simple. Verify with actual data, not manufactured consensus.
What's the fourth trigger?
Liking. We say yes to people we like.
That seems obvious.
But what makes us like someone is surprisingly manipulable. Attractiveness, similarity, and compliments all trigger automatic liking.
Is that why salespeople always find things in common with you?
Exactly. Tupperware parties exploit friendship bonds to drive sales. You're not just buying from a company. You're buying from your friend.
Making it much harder to say no.
The defense is to separate the person from the proposal. Judge every offer on its actual merits, not who's making it. The fifth trigger is authority. We automatically defer to perceived experts, even when their expertise is irrelevant.
Right? Like actors in lab coats selling medication?
Perfect example. The white coat effect shows that titles, uniforms, and credentials trigger automatic compliance.
Even if the person isn't actually an expert in that specific field.
Exactly. Always ask, is this person truly an expert in this specific domain?
What's the final trigger?
Scarcity. Rare things seem more valuable. Deadlines and limited availability exploit our fear of missing out.
Only 3 left in stock.
That phrase triggers loss aversion, one of the most powerful forces in human psychology. We hate losing things more than we enjoy gaining them.
Cialdini even found that censored information feels more true.
Exactly. Banning something makes people want it more.
So how do we resist scarcity pressure?
Pause and ask yourself one question. Do I want this because it's scarce, or do I want it because I actually need it?
The urgency is artificial, but the regret could be very real.
Now let's make this practical, with a simple defense framework.
Well, what do we do when we feel ourselves being influenced?
3 steps. Pause, name, and evaluate.
Yeah, walk me through it.
First, pause. Create distance between the stimulus and your response. Never make important decisions under time pressure.
That alone defeats most scarcity tactics.
Second, name the trigger. Is this reciprocity, commitment, social proof, liking, authority, or scarcity?
Just identifying the technique takes away some of its power.
Exactly. Third, evaluate the offer on its own merits. Would you still want this if there was no deadline, no expert endorsement, no gift attached?
Strip away all the psychological pressure and look at the naked offer.
Right. If it doesn't stand on its own, you have your answer.
These principles aren't just for defense, though.
No, understanding them also helps you communicate and persuade ethically. Let's recap Cialdini's 6 weapons of influence.
Reciprocity. Gifts create obligation.
Commitment. Small yeses lead to big yeses.
Social proof. We follow the crowd.
Liking. We say yes to friends.
Authority. We trust experts, even fake ones.
And scarcity. Rare things feel more valuable.
Now you have the vocabulary to recognize manipulation when it happens.
This week, try to spot at least one influence attempt each day.
Once you start looking, you'll see them everywhere.
In ads, in conversations, in every sales pitch.
Awareness is the first step to freedom.
If you found this helpful, subscribe for more insights on psychology and persuasion.
Thanks for listening to Growth in Minutes.
Stay aware and stay in control.